Yeah, so I like that pattern or whatever. I like the idea of doing this, having it retired, doing this, having it retired. So I don't want to jump in the middle of that consecutive, series of colors.
You'd be the next design. I'm not sure the next design is going to be exactly the same. It's just that the reason that the designs come out the way they do is because I just I just don't bother making new shirts until the old ones are gone, I guess. But the thing is, as long as the set's finite and never gets repeated, it works the same either way. So if you come up with a fourth, like another shirt design, and it's up there, then and there's a set of 50 of them available total, and we don't repeat that design in the next set, it still works as a see like this says, oh, I'm one of the original people,
Right.
and then the like a baseball shirt says I'm important for one reason or another. You either got a red baseball shirt, in which case you're a dude who's important, or did you get a baseball shirt? You got one, didn't you? Yeah, okay. Or you get the green one, which means you slept with me.
Ken and I have one.
And I have one. I think that's it.
Did you only make three?
I think so. I think there were. I made five, but I don't know. The other two maybe with band members. Like, those five shirts were for the band, but most of the band members chose a different shirt and said they didn't want the baseball shirt. They wanted the regular shirt, so I gave them a regular shirt instead. But that's where the red ones came from.
All different shirts. I'm talking to you, baseball shirt.
I like the baseball shirts.
Uh,
I said I like the baseball shirts because they're. It's like if we had all baseball shirts and then four or five regular ones, then the regular ones would be cooler. You know.
I'm just wondering the thought process here. But yeah, I do think. Oh, here, I haven't. Oh, look what I found. I don't know if you knew that it had been lost. It had been lost.
What
In
is
the
it?
pocket of the jacket.
What is it?
My Bluetooth.
Oh, I thought it was stepped on or something. I saw it all broken one day in the video.
Yeah, the first one was, and I bought another one, and then I lost the other one. I didn't want to buy another one because
Because you knew you hadn't really lost it. You just hadn't searched all your pockets yet. All the pockets in the house.
normally I'm really good about emptying my pockets before I take them off.
Me too, actually. I'm normally quite good at it too about it, but even so, usually when I'm missing something, that's where it ends up being.
It's you only have to wash one iPod to learn that lesson.
I'm sorry. Say again.
You only have to you only have to wash one iPod to learn to check your pockets.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. Mostly what I wash are lighters.
Those are waterproof.
Yeah, I wash a lot of lighters and they come out just fine. I really like the usefulness of Josh. He provided a piece of information that will really come in handy, I bet.
What's that?
Eating inhalers.
Oh,
Fuck
did you watch the raw footage last night?
no.
I spent fucking hours playing with him. I love Josh.
I like him too.
It's fun.
He's he's like I
Insane.
yeah, he's completely insane. He's like a gay homosexual Jewish kind of me without any like training in how to think better. But he's fun. He's lots of fun.
Yes, he is. He's lots of fun. You should watch some of the footage and see how much fun I had. I want to chop it up and make it into a video, but it gets kind of like not family showish.
Really.
Can you imagine?
It's okay. You know what? Even though I keep telling you this is a family show, it actually isn't.
I know, but there's hours and hours of me discussing gay sex with him, with Spacey.
Really?
Oh, he likes Spacey.
You mentioned I heard that last night. It's basically not gay though.
No, but I've hypothesized, or last night I determined that we determined, however we got there, that Josh just needs to try harder, and maybe Spacey will find out that he's gay, or Josh explained the concept of romantic but non-sexual relationships, and so I'm trying to get them to be in one of those.
Is that a thing? How is it romantic if it's non-sexual?
I've never heard of such a thing, but I also think that since it's non-sexual, it's not physical, it doesn't need consent. So if I can get Josh on board with saying that, with deeming
Spacey his boyfriend.
Spacey his boyfriend, that's fun.
And that, as with
Heard about it then.
as with any meaning smithing spells, if you repeat it often enough, it will become true.
It will be, exactly. Repetition. Right, talking with famous people. Let's see, how did my retirement?
Was that an example of repetition being effective?
Yes.
I see. Let me see what you say on this video here. All right.
The fact is that everything in his family is transactional. It has nothing to do with love. It has to do with you just
Skip forward a bit. This is him whining about his dad.
And my mother
If you get to
and
post
me
when JD leaves,
basically take care of
JD leaves, things pick up.
When who leaves?
JD.
Is JD the black guy or?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is he? Where did he come from? I've never seen him before.
He's got his own channel, MBTV or MBTI Plus.
Oh, there's that guy. Okay, yeah, I have seen him before. I thought it might be him, but it didn't look quite like him. Okay, I know who it is.
care of him my entire life. And
Another type A.
Saying the same thing over, and say, okay, so what
I
do you
just
do?
want
Accuse your grandma of anything.
except for
I do it all the time. I'd rather right in her face.
my grandma's an ENFJ. She's very successful. She's very, very successful. But she is guided by her emotions and her feelings, and
So are you, bro.
and she I can reason with her, but I think she's faking it. I think she's appeasing me.
Yeah, that is a really awful feeling when they just kind of nod and smile and they don't really give a shit at all about what you're saying.
I think she gives a shit about what I'm saying. I just don't think she believes it or understands it. But she wants me to feel.
No, she just thinks that she's still right. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
They've got just similar.
She's a very effective person.
Spacey is just enough of an
Sure.
attention slut that
Is that
it's,
for
it's,
confessional still, Dan?
it's not a very uphill
If
push
so.
I hope not.
You should never complain to anyone about your
to
problems.
get them to
ever.
act like this is
No one will ever understand.
No,
Well,
forever. I love people complain about it.
What
You're
you
a
saying?
lawyer. You love when
Everybody.
people complain. You're a lawyer.
What?
That's just
Hi,
a
friends.
problem lawyer.
Host Eric here.
I've got a lot of issues. I'm not gonna lie.
Tell them to Neptune.
I mean, I get as frustrated as anyone else when
But I
someone
try.
is unproductively complaining, honestly.
I try to find logical constructs to escape myself from those problems. It doesn't always work, but usually it does.
I think when people are more reluctant to share their secrets and stuff, then that makes me more interested, like anyone else, I guess.
I mean, I've had a lot of alcohol tonight, so like I'm very open to that.
No, I wasn't like referring to you. I'm just talking about in general. I was replying to Taylor's comments.
Okay.
Also, if you're like me, if you drink a lot, you get really, really depressed.
I tried. I have to make myself cry sometimes. I'll drink and I'll listen to music to feel, and I'll cry, and it makes me feel good because of the endorphins, and I'll go to sleep.
Yeah, the first time I listened to the Velvet Underground's first album, I got like really baked, and then when Heroin came on, I was fucking bawling like a fucking
Heroin.
baby.
She's my wife. She's my life.
Yep.
You guys make me feel so
Uncultured.
When I'm in my vein. Oh god.
uncultured. Not the word I was looking for.
No, I know it wasn't. That's why.
Stable.
Number one. Fuck no. I'm not stable. Right.
No.
I'm not gonna speak for him, but
Not being able to cry, Taylor, does not make you stable.
No, but like the other shit that I don't do.
That's fucking funny, dude. Not being able to cry doesn't make you stable, Taylor. Okay?
He's got a super expressive tone of voice. You don't need to see and see to hear the blush. He
Yeah.
can blush audibly.
What do you say? Not being able to cry doesn't make you. What? I gotta quote this because it's such a great quote.
Stable.
It doesn't make you stable. Okay.
Stable. I said they make me feel stable.
Right. You meant, by comparison, you feel sane.
I was totally sane.
I'm sure you're able to cry.
I'm sure I am.
I think normally I.
Whenever I would do heroin, I would put on either the song Heroin, or the freight train didn't last a little too long.
Oh, I remember at the.
Liver scanned every 6 months.
I mean, I have my.
That's a big cutting job.
They love me, and I may feel.
I think you should have hit on the face.
He said I'm gonna hit on
This conversation,
What's that?
this conversation is.
Well, at least the first raw room footage. Maybe the second one moves would require less cutting, but
I see.
Alright, it's gonna be a ride.
Don't get offended.
forever is a very long time there, Josh.
That is a long time. I like how long a time that is.
I see a lot
Taylor
of
just got fucking baked. His eyes are red as fuck.
Yep.
Does he actually think you're smoking bong riffs? Obviously, Neptune must totally believe that you're smoking weed.
Yeah, I think he does.
Because he's like, oh my god, Taylor's eyes are so red.
Yeah, he either believes it's weed or he's playing it really well.
If he's playing it that cool, then he gets mad props for having our back without even knowing it or something is good. You get props for that. It's like he's not even concerned about you knowing that he's got your back, but he's having it anyway, secretly, being super aware.
No, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Because
he doesn't know.
That I had at one point speculated very distantly that Courtney is unmet. And
I like that strategy, Taylor. I like that.
It wasn't a strategy. I think that she is.
Okay, but my point is, what better way to cause people to conclude that you're probably not on meth than to hesitantly intimate that somebody else might be, because it's a matter of concern.
It wasn't a matter of concern, it's a matter of evidence.
The other thing you have going for you is you totally don't look like you're on meth. There's nothing about you that looks like a meth user. Like, people will say to me, well, you're so skinny. It's super annoying to me because I was exactly this skinny before I started doing speed. So it's like, not fair. That's not why I'm skinny, and you can't say that's evidence of me being a speed user. Just happenstance.
Well, when I pointed out that she's up at all hours of the night, and she sometimes has weird people over, and she's insanely stubborn and insistent about things that she wants or how she wants people to view things. And that she did this thing during the last fight where she like corked her head, like she does this sarcastic head corking thing that contorts her neck at an angle that only tweakers do.
That's some pretty thin evidence there, Taylor. The way she tilts her head and the fact that she's
God damn it.
Up a lot.
It is thin evidence.
That's fine. That's why I said it's cool, because of the way it muddies things that you want muddied without actually doing anything at all other than muddying shit. That's what makes it cool.
And anyways, Neptune kind of like sort of agreed with me in a way that goes, but his reaction was, "Oh my God, I didn't even notice." It kind of creeps me out that someone could be on meth and I wouldn't know. It makes me wonder who else. I mean, just in my day-to-day life, how many people do I meet that are on meth and I don't know?
Probably a lot.
Because that's a dark drug.
It's such not a dark drug, though.
I bet it is for IDPs.
Downers are dark drugs.
No. If your brain is overactive in a not play sense, then more brain stimulation isn't going to be fun. It's going to be a bigger SI loop.
Okay. But
see, you're so itty and heavy that it just gives you more energy to play.
I'm very 7. Very, very 7.
And downers, on the other hand, provide a nice break from people.
Right, so if your default is being mad, then downers are great. If your default is, yay, let's have lots of excited fun with energy, then downers don't work well.
If your default is being anxious, downers are good. If your default is playing, downers are bad. If your default being angry, you can use anything for any purpose.
Right. But I mean,
It all just kind of runs off.
I do understand your warrant that you say, and it seems to make good sense to me that you use drugs in part to being nicer to other people.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. Drugs don't make me nicer to other people. I'm generally pretty nice to other people, but I don't seem to get a lot of credit for being nice. I don't know why.
I think it's because, well, because of two things. Well, mostly because people are stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
People don't appreciate rightness over they're there. People don't understand that it's more respectful to not coddle and pamper someone's feelings and treat them like a special snowflake that might melt. And people don't like not being able to be right against
Right. A lot of FE shit.
it's FE shit. For sure.
So the video I just made is about that. It says FE, cognitive function of 1,000 disguises. People make arguments, spend huge amounts of time to make arguments that are disguised as something other than FE in order to achieve FE outcomes is the only purpose of it.
If they just TI'd about the topic as hard as they TI about how to hide FE, they win.
Right.
Or at least stop being wrong.
Yeah, but then they'd have to be like, I guess I probably don't have a good reason to attack Eric on this one, except for the fact that it's making me feel threatened because he's positioning himself as knowing something.
Also, I mean, I think that especially for like someone like casual, I think that there's a certain amount of this is how I get better is by sparring with.
I fully respect casual INTP. I have not one shred of dismissal of his approach, even if he's stubborn. He is not unfair. Now, he has been in the past, maybe on occasion, on one particular occasion I remember, but he is tough and not going to be blown by the force of the wind, but he's fair. He's not lying.
All of their kind of quiet neuroticism, INTPs can hang.
Yeah. They sure can.
I would not want to fuck with Susie.
I don't ever fuck with her.
I mean, I'm not saying that I do. I'm just observing that she's really good at working in a power position and then still having it not really look like she's in a power position.
Right, but she loves being powerful. Oh my god, it's kind of scary. She really likes having power. Which is weird, but that's fine.
But she also likes the. She doesn't want the recognition.
That's true because her FE management is way more risk avoidant than ours, and she goes, well, that's probably why she likes having power is that it relieves her of her duty to deal with things through an FE fashion.
Right. Well, I mean, and the difference between third and fourth slot FE is dramatic.
Yeah,
I think that INTP FE is legitimately innocent, whereas third slot FE is kind of brag.
I mean, INTP FE is effective in our perceptions of how we perceive them is as though they successfully manage our perceptions. I think most of the time they're not actually doing that. I've had conversations with Susie where I realize, oh, you mean you just aren't thinking about the FE shit because I'm not necessarily prioritizing it, but you are genuinely unaware of it sometimes. But it plays like you must be aware because you're not making social mistakes, but they're not necessarily aware of it even.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that we would assume that a lot of the things that happen due to just introversion for them are done due to caution. Because why aren't you yelling more? You think like me.
I mean, it may be inverted thinking. Unlike us, they don't by default act metaphysically. They by default deliberate with consistency metric. So it takes them, by the time they're done deliberating about whatever it is we're talking about, we've already moved on through 4 or 5 more different conversation topics. And it's 30 seconds later before we come back to the original topic. There's been seven different argument chains in between. Now they're back to that one. And it's like, that's why they don't talk very much, is because if we wanted to enable INTPs to talk, we'd say one idea, and we'd sit there and wait for a second, let them process, make sure their TIs tested it solidly, then wait for them to respond. But we don't have the patience for that.
No. We also have a maybe it's FE, for whatever reason, we interact with people in a more sort of TE sort of tactical way.
Yeah.
Than INTPs do for sure. So we will shift methods. We'll talk faster. And, if we need an escape from an INTP trap where they've got us cornered, fire hose them and run away.
Yeah, they rarely get me cornered, but occasionally.
But it's always if they're gonna corner you, you know it's coming because you know that you said something stupid.
Right.
And you can see that that they caught it.
Yeah, it's the thing that happened the other day when I was talking with what's his name? Steve. And I was conceding that I was SI seeking and that's a good reason to be with an ISFJ. As I said, I recalled, as I was saying it, like the day before, I had been going over with Casual my theory that the duals and socionics are wrong and that we should use my duals instead. But at that moment, just basically, I didn't agree with socionics duals definition, but I did agree that wanting an SI dom makes sense. So then I knew right then, here comes Casual. And sure enough, about a minute later, it was like, but yesterday you said, I was like, Jesus Christ, here we go. But I think he didn't have me cornered because I never said that relationship type was a dual. I just said, I agree, it makes sense that I seek somebody who has SI. And then I went down and answered everything. But you're right, I saw it coming. As soon as it got out of my mouth, I was like, fuck.
The other way that I don't broadcast much to get out of an INTP corner is to, if they've got something and they're following it through its logical course, you can derail them onto different things.
Right.
Or you can upset their, like, well, what do you mean I meant that? What about this? What about this? You throw any at them.
I mean, the thing is, it's a lot easier to negate with an INTP than it is to affirm. So if I'm trying to recommend INTP, go along with me on this course of action, I've got a long stretch of deep snow to slog through because they will make you fucking parse out every detail of what it is you're providing as a suggested course of action, even though the real answer is, I don't fucking know, we have to start doing it, then we'll find out what happens.
Unless the course of action is questioning it.
Yeah, then they're fine, yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh shit, you're coming at me. Questions, concern. Incomplete information.
Right.
And do it fast. if you throw more questions at them, if you make them question their position and you fire hose them, forget.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. I was just in the room there with Josh and somebody, and I was arguing with somebody, and Josh was like it was me and Casual again arguing about libertarian shit, whether or not when the cops took my weed, they were guilty of possession of marijuana. My position is they were if I was. Because after all, possession, they were in possession of it. He was trying to say, no, it's not the same because it's evidence of a crime. And then I went into my thing saying, look,
Well, all your guys' argument depends on if there's a law or a statute
right, but
for saying that cops can possess something. And I don't think either you probably knew.
But my argument was that it is an illegality. That doesn't make it a crime. That's why we need to distinguish between the two words. And the reason we know that is because, for example, if I get arrested for rape and I'm pending trial and I'm in the county jail, the cops don't then get to rape some girl and say, well, it's fine because we're only raping this girl while he's waiting trial. We're not raping her for our own purposes. We're raping her because he's awaiting trial for rape. So naturally, we have to rape her. That's the logic that justifies.
No.
Why not? If it's okay for them to commit the same exact act and it not be criminal when they do it, on that instance, why would it not be okay in the other instance? The only explanation is because the first thing is not actually a crime. That's why the same logic doesn't work.
And purpose and necessity.
What?
The purpose and the necessity are different. One is while you're doing something in law enforcement, if you're enforcing laws, you have to then interact with illegality in a way that necessitates that sometimes, in order to do the job, you will do things like take evidence to the evidence locker or shoot people.
Right, but the whole point of it is the system's sound. In other words, there are instances when the cops can, in fact, do shit that would normally be illegal and it not be illegal for them to do it. And it's not illegal because people who are guilty of rights violations have rights forfeitures. Therefore, the cops can't be violating their rights. Now, if they're suspects, fine. But then that quote-unquote evidence needs to be returned to them after they've been proved not guilty of violating the rights of another. And that's not the instance here.
That's never done. But what you're suggesting is it ignores the distinction that's made for law enforcement.
Right, but what I'm suggesting is we've internalized a false distinction that destroys the core underlying principles of all liberty and free society. Namely, that as equal individuals, crime is understood through the violation of rights and legitimacy through Lockean principles of justice.
I agree, but I don't think that is the manner through which it's understood.
I agree. That's why I have to keep reframing it for everybody. It's like, you're right. People do understand it incorrectly in the status quo, and that's why I'm going to use language like this, because it forces you to come to terms with the fact that people use it incorrectly in the status quo, and most people, unlike you, have shockingly little awareness of things that seem obvious to us.
Yeah, I know. It's awful, isn't it?
Sometimes I am literally, actually surprised and shocked. Usually I'll say those words when I'm not surprised or shocked at all. But occasionally I will actually literally be surprised. Like, you mean...
It's super discouraging.
You really believe that? You know, it's like when Capillo laughed at me when I said the cops stole my weed, as though it were impossible for cops to steal things.
Oh yeah, they probably sold it.
I'm sure I bet they did what they were supposed to do with it. I bet they destroyed it or whatever. I bet they did their jobs properly. They did their jobs properly when arresting me. My point is, their job is stomping puppies, and that's bad.
I think that probably you, just kind of like you're naive about a lot of things. You assume people are good until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
You'd be shocked at how many cops are good.
I mean, I assume most cops are not crooked.
I know that I've been at some place where a cop has walked in, and I thought it was a bust. But it wasn't. He was there, the guy's house was needed to re-up. He was out of code.
So the cop came to deliver it.
Handcuffed and delivered in uniform, yeah. And this guy wasn't just a personal user. he would sell
The cops are providing drugs they stole from somebody else to a different drug dealer so they can profit off of it.
them. Cops don't get paid enough.
They get paid way too much.
They don't get paid enough to resist the temptation of selling coke. They get it for free.
Resisting the temptation to steal shit from others and then sell stolen property is not contingent upon you making enough money.
Okay, no, not in principle. It's not at all. In actuality, I'm not saying that we should pay them more so that they don't do this. I'm saying that if you're a cop and you're making 40 grand a year, maybe.
You're making 60 at least.
In LA. Okay, so let's split the difference and say you're making 50. Well, if you get $1,000 dropped in your lap for free, you're going to take it. Because no one ever showed up in court and went, Your Honor, this is bullshit. I did not get caught with an 8 ball. I got caught with 2 ounces. Where the fuck is the rest of my coke?
Right. Well,
You or I maybe would.
I would. Maybe. I mean, my point would be, if I actually found myself in court and was on trial for something, at that point it'd be time to slow the fuck down. There is no need to rush to judgment here, Judge. I thought I was being held on trial, being accused of the state of wrongdoing. I would like my opportunity to speak my mind about these things. And I would make sure that...
You don't want to take forever and annoy the prosecution.
Yeah, I do.
I know that you do, but that's not always the best FE plan.
That's why I'm saying this happens if there's a jury present. If there's a jury present, I don't give a fuck what the prosecution thinks of me.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to make sure the prosecution knows how deeply I hold them in contempt.
So deeply.
Yeah, I want them to know that I would rather have dog shit on my face than spend 5 minutes with those fucking assholes.
It's funny, I was thinking last night while I was driving around because I was thinking about how I could not be a cop because it's one of the few jobs that my own ethics would prohibit me from doing.
Right. Me too.
I could be a pornographer. I could be a drug dealer. I could be a cop.
I could definitely be a drug dealer. Pornographer, I don't think I could do that because,
Actually, for sure, being a dad has put another angle into that.
yeah. I mean, I could be a pornographer with my own woman, but I wouldn't want to put it out in public, really, you know?
I am.
Yeah, I know you are. I have done that before, too. I've made sex tapes before like that, too. But I don't put them out in public or anything, you know? Just because that is too much transparency even for me. Yes, we found the line. There is, in fact, possible to be too transparent for Eric. I don't need all my sex videotaped and publicized. I gotta go get weed. I gotta go to the weed store. I'm gonna be shipping some weed out to some people today because I'm a nice guy, and it actually seems like it might be a good.
Are you shipping to Nick?
To Nick and Josh.
Yeah. I mean, Nick is so loud.
That's fine. I mean, the thing is, we can talk about it all we want. If they want to go, if anybody wants to take me to court on the grounds that I said I did something without actually any other evidence of it, they can go ahead and do that.
I mean, I don't think you're going to end up in court if you said Nick weed once. I think that I probably would not make a pattern of it.
See, I was thinking about, my system is going to be this. I'm going to put a product up on the shop that's equal to the amount of money they owe me for the weed plus postage. They'll buy that product. The money will go directly into my account, you know, and then they'll pay me for the weed and I'll ship the weed out. It's like it were a TwFP product, right? This system could work well.
If you're laundering through my tax write-off of TwFP,
that's good. Look, the thing is,
that's good for you. That's good for everything except for my tax write-off.
No, but look, Taylor, what we're not understanding here is this. First of all, The only way I can get busted shipping pot through the mail is under federal law.
No, I'm not talking about getting busted at all. I'm saying that how much money does TWFP make net right now?
None. It loses money.
So if TWFP starts selling a bunch of $300 T-shirts when it's tax season and I need to claim a loss for the expenses I put in, which is basically the internet, and you need to claim a loss on taxes. However, you've got all this paper trail showing that you actually made a lot of money selling really expensive limited edition T-shirts.
No, I mean, the thing is, remember, there's a difference between inventory at cost and inventory you charge price for. That's your profit. The government is not concerned about you selling 50,000 things, each of which you make 1 penny off of, because that's a small amount of money.
As someone who's got both a job, work experience in financial services and who is currently going back and forth with the IRS, do not use your fucking argumentation with the IRS. You'll regret it.
Well, that argument wouldn't be an argument I'd use against the IRS. That's an argument I'm telling you as to the practical concerns about whether or not the IRS is going to be fussy about something. It's going to depend on how much profit you make, not on how much just straight up transactions you engage in.
Right, but just because you can create a conceptual model in which you didn't make any money selling $300 T-shirts doesn't mean that the IRS will believe you or appreciate it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and the problem is, of course, there's no means or ability or desire or mechanism to hold the IRS accountable for anything. All of their behavior is civil action. It's not criminal. And you don't even get a jury in an IRS civil trial.
Doesn't go away in bankruptcy. I mean, there's a whole shit ton of problems with the IRS. But the idea of outsmarting the IRS by lying to them.
I'm not going to outsmart them. I know that. I'm not trying to outsmart them. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to avoid taxation by argumentation. I am saying that I want to present a reasonable front to the government. If they challenge it and it's reasonable, then I would hope engaging with them reasonably would produce results. If it doesn't, and it has to end up in court in some fashion, then at the very least, I will get a good YouTube narrative line out of it. And I will make sure to film it all. I'll make sure to get the judge's picture and put it on the internet. Big, bold, put the judge's name, prosecutor's name, big, bold picture. Explain in ways that are non-slanderous or libelous why they're moral reprobates. And, anybody else who's involved in the process. The IRS agents.
The world is much more TI and SB than you give it credit for when you predict the future and how you'll handle it.
I'm not predicting what's going to happen by me handling it this way.
I know you have a solution to how you could handle it.
I'm saying that I know how I will handle it intellectually. How I will handle it practically may be another matter. But it's fair to say that I'm going to I'm going to put myself in a position where, should the government want to come down on me on something, that they be clearly in the wrong. So that when I go to argue things, I can do it the most effective way, which is allow the argumentation to build as their unreasonableness becomes more and more clear. Make them make the arguments against themselves, as always. It's the most effective thing you can possibly do, is make them make the arguments against themselves. And then they can't, then there's nothing they can do. Whoever it is. If you're talking to a judge and you ask a question and he answers you, you got him. You got him because as long as you're able to speak and be heard and be responded to, you got him. They're toast.
Here's why you don't got him. Because you've got 2,000 followers, and that does not constitute a very big concern.
I'm not talking about the follow. I'm talking about actually in court. If I ask the judge a question and he gives me an answer, I've got him. He's toast.
No, you don't.
Of course I do.
You should, but you don't.
I mean,
Here's what's got him. He's sleeping with the prosecutor.
But
And he's also got a witness because Tiff and Taylor have to comply, and Tiff gets nervous when they start threatening him, and so Tiff is in there in court to say that whatever the judge wants to hear, the judge wants to give the prosecutor something because the judge wants to keep fucking the prosecutor, but he doesn't want his wife to find out.
well, I mean that may be the case, but then that's why you slow shit down to an absolute crawl with the rest of the judgment argument, and you make sure you ask every fucking question they'll let you ask to every single person you can possibly ask. You're allowed to make. You make every argument you're allowed to make. You make sure that when that judge gets up to go to that court case again tomorrow, he's like, oh my fucking God, I hate this guy.
You know what he'll do before that point is he will violate your rights.
But here's the thing. That's why you got to be super careful about it. You want him to do that, but you got to make him do it in the right way so you can catch him on it. For sure, you want him to do that. The thing is, well, we don't have. They have absolute immunity from prosecution. They are absolutely subject to bar sanctions. And there's one place where you can do some serious fucking damage to a legal career is going to the bar. And
that is true.
I will have that motherfucker before the ethics committee sitting there for the rest of his goddamn life to keep his legal license.
Okay. With the bar thing, you've got a great point. Everything else makes me wonder how the fuck you survived this long with this much sort of la 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 la.
Well, see, I guess I should begin this by saying I am fully aware of the fact that judges have absolute immunity in the United States as per the exception drawn in judicial interpretation to section Title 40, Section 1982, which guarantees our right to sue judges and prosecutors when they violate our rights, but judges have interpreted it away. So I guess if I began with the fact that here's what I know I can't do, people would probably understand me a little more clearly, because there's an assumption that when I say I want to fix this problem, I'm going to fix it in the normal way. It's the same thing with the marijuana arrest. My strategy was not, I'm going to sue him. My strategy was, I'm going to sue him for nothing. Nominal damages. So that I can win. Regardless if I get anything, my point will have been made. That's an actual strategy that has a possibility of working. Most people have strategies that have no possibility of working.
The way it ended up playing out, though.
I mean, the thing is, I knew it was going to play like that, which is basically, because I'm 7, not 8, I have trouble clinging to my anger long enough to motivate me to do shit. I'd rather play. I was busy talking to you on the internet. I didn't have time to go make shit happen.
Well, they violated your right to play. When you think about how they violated your right to play, doesn't it make you angry again?
Well, it would, except I'm too busy playing right now. I'm too busy having a good conversation with Taylor to be angry with the cops in Oklahoma.
A good conversation with Taylor will throw a lot of other things to the side.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, so.
But I side with you. I side with you. If I were a better person, I would have done it. I was lazy.
That's interesting. I agree that doesn't have a goal component there that you got lazy on. I don't think anyone else that I know would.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, I also cut myself a fair amount of slack because I think I'm doing lots of good works anyway, as far in that general area.
Yeah, well, you don't have to answer to anyone but you.
Right.
So, I mean, I give myself plenty of leeway to do things how I want, or break my own rules.
Right. I give myself plenty of leeway to say I'm going to do X, knowing full well that pretty much guarantees I'm not doing X. I'm doing something, but I'm not doing X now because I just said I was going to do X. That means it could be Y, it could be Z, but now that I mentioned those, probably not going to be them either.
So, my original point that you think about how if you're going to run things through t-shirts, you're going to have to file with the IRS in a way that Dave and I are both on board with. I'm not a narc for sure. However, I look at Tip and how'd the Joker put it? I know a squealer when I see one.
Well, I mean, Tiff's not in the loop about anything.
Tiff's a partial owner, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's not in the loop about anything. He's 4%, and that's all he's ever going to have. I've made that clear to him as well. And
Okay.
I don't talk to him about
I
anything.
haven't thought it all go through, and I haven't seen any sort of revenue, thing for now. So I don't know how much revenue is coming in and going out either way. But I do know that if you start doing this regularly, your financial situation is going to change.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. And in fact, I'd be much better off than.
You'd be much better off not doing it through DW. Doing it through eBay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do today's as per the existing plan. But what I will make a note of is when I talk to these guys again, because I already agreed to do this for today. It's gonna be like $100 worth of stuff, and then.
Get a fucking PayPal account.
Okay, I have one. I think I just have to. Yeah.
Use it. You know what you can do with it? You can send money to people with nothing more than their phone number.
Really?
And if you do a friend-to-friend transfer, not a not a merchant purchase through PayPal, I can send you money. If I'm not concerned about you ripping me off and getting buyer protection, I can send you money from my cell phone right now for free.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm still gonna do the. Well, I gotta go get the weed, and then I'll come home and look at PayPal, and I may end up changing my plan here.
PayPal account, and I guarantee Nick has it, and just say, hey, PayPal me some money.
Okay.
That's what I did. I've done that before for this purpose.
Okay. I will do that then. I appreciate your advice on this matter. It's wise.
It is. It is wise. Sometimes you use wise liberally.
Yeah.
Going on a date with host Eric is not a wise nor an unwise decision. It has nothing to do with wisdom.
Well, I mean, I get it does have to do with wisdom, but we didn't say actually what is wise. What we meant was it's not dangerous to go be alone with me. It's not an unwise decision to do that.
That would be unwise.
Yeah.
It would be unwise to be alone with a dangerous person. It's not necessarily wise to go on a date with host Eric, who's
right.
a big 12-year-old.
I agree with you. So if we were to be more accurate, we would have said it's not unwise to go on a date with host Eric insofar as wisdom here is regarding your safety.
You're not going to become an Amber Alert.
No. No Amber Alerts caused by me. My whole life, not one.
You might be surprised at how immature he can be, but that's the worst of it.
Right. I might throw a tantrum. That's possible.
That's just because you need to put out more.
Exactly. Thank you. That's my point.
If you don't want a temper tantrum, it'd be wise to fuck this way.
Yeah. Whatever you think you're accomplishing by not fucking me, you're totally wrong.
Because now all you've done is made yourself a thing in his brain that he has to talk about in the raw room a lot. It's frustrating.
Right. And
you don't want to be talked about, put out.
If you're frustrated, if you frustrate me enough, also, I stop interacting with you.
Okay, so the whole thing about not being unwise, we're starting to borderline on like blackmail.
Why is that borderline on blackmail?
Put out, or else I will embarrass you publicly.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. That's not what I mean. That's not what I meant. I'm just like,
I know, but it's getting close.
yeah, I got you. That's not how it is either. It's more like if you don't want the natural consequences of your actions, then don't engage in those actions.
FB tip. Sometimes it's better to just walk away from something than to re-clarify it into its rightness.
All right, well, maybe I'll walk away from this before it happens. I don't know. Possible. I'm not married to the idea of.
All right, if you're still recording, this would have been a great, little blur, an infomercial.
I am still recording. Why did that ruin it? Because you think it tells her that I might walk away from it or whatever? What I mean by that is...
No, because I just assumed that once we kind of cross the line into maybe they could be threatening, put out or else I will make a big deal about you. I just assumed that at that point we had lost the momentum of, hey, this will get me dates.
Well, that's not what we're talking about at this point, Bill. What I'm talking about is not that. It's not, hey, put out or I will embarrass you. It's more like, hey, I'm a human being and I'm experiencing my life. And to the extent that you want me to experience my life in ways that make easy sense to me and I can process easily, then that's great. And if you don't behave in ways that make intuitive sense to me, that's fine. But I'm going to try to figure it out. So, it's like,
In the middle of you talking.
I don't know what's going on there with that. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I didn't get any of that. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway,
My died in the middle of us talking, and so then my whole audio.
oh, I see. Well, I mean, the point I'm trying to get at is that I am a human being who tries to figure shit out. I try to figure shit out by talking it through, and I generally talk it through in public because I'm very extroverted and opposed to secrecy and stuff. Those things are just things. They're not means to achieve an end. It's just how it is. As a actual human being, I use my actual human tools that I use to process information. So for me, it means talking shit through. To the extent
Some
that
people have is a healthy suspicion of other people's genuine intention or nature. So when you're presenting something and you're giving them everything, the truth or the transparency or whatever, you forget that for every Eric, there's about 18 Taylors who
Yep.
will fake transparency.
right, but see, here's the problem, Taylor. There are not 18 Taylors. For every Eric, there's one Taylor and 17 imitations of both.
Well, true. Okay, yeah, we're both super special, but
The thing is, you might be able to successfully fool me with non-transparency and actually successfully attain some sort of victory over me in that fashion. Nobody else can.
I don't. I don't.
I know you don't.
That's why you trust me.
And that's why you could.
Right. But I think that you trust. I think you give too many people the option too. And also, in this context, the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think that makes you underestimate other people's natural suspicion.
That might be true.
Transparency is less effective than you think it is because you assume that people are as optimistic about others as you are, and they're not.
No, I understand that there's a steep hill there that I need to sell other people on the fact that they can actually believe what I'm saying. That it's not a trick in some fashion. I was trying to fucking trick them. But the thing is, the reason why what I can be so-called trusting or whatever is because my whole life my experience has been that nobody can ever transition between the faking, successfully being transparent, and actually doing the thing that's conniving or bad. Because when it happens, if there's a segue, in other words, if they're communicating with me directly, there'll be a inconsistency that'll grab my attention, and I'll ask about it. I'll be, well, what about that thing? And then all of a sudden, they've got FE on their face now. Oh shit! I got called out. I got caught, and I can see that a mile away. And I go, oh, I don't say anything. I just go, okay, cool. And all of a sudden, they're an entirely different person in my brain.
Right. I do the same thing. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know that yours is accurate. What I'm saying is that when you present information, when you yourself, to a potential date, examples work. Or when you say something like, "Well, you can trust the artifact market. I will have it, and it'll be all on camera." You forget the fact that you're presenting transparency, and there are a lot of other people who present transparency. Like, President Obama spoke more about transparency than anyone else. He's a transparent president.
I mean, I think that's a great point. But the thing is, that's the sort of point that I want to deal with, not by throwing up my hands and going, well, I guess this won't work because other people have ruined it. My point is, draw the distinctions, make it clear why this is actual transparency, that isn't, and open myself up to constant questioning. Anybody can come question me about anything, anytime.
I agree. I agree that this is something that's better dealt with as it should be than as it is.
I like the fact that you and I can both come to consensus and disagree in alternating times without any bleed over. I've got to go to get the weed store though because I'm out of weed and I'm tired of not smoking bong rips. It's starting to drive me fucking nuts.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you later. Russ and Steven delight in delivering cheese every day. And the dairy that employs them ensures they earn quite reasonable pay. Money's not tight. Russ has cheddar, American, and Swiss too. He likes that cheese. He'll bring them all to you, Steven. Overseas from his desk, he's a lady. From which he oversees the cheese. Russ and Steven love delivering 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 cheese. Russ and Steven Russ broke even gambling on hurricane names bearing down on the east. He was way up till tropical storm Isabel became Bernice. But he never laments his lost chance at a life of ease.